Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about a little bit of pop culture, which, as you know, is not my normal niche, but these specific stories I thought were really important to talk about, and they're really relevant to our lives and to American society as a whole, and they kind of intersect with politics. Imagine that, right? Entertainment intersecting with politics. So I think it's really important for us to talk about these things. We're going to talk about the Grammys the other night. We are also going to talk about Bad Bunny, a Puerto Rican rapper that has really been the center of a lot of controversy recently, and much more. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Amelia Proclaims Liberty. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know I've said this before, but it means the world to me that you all would decide to press play on my podcast. When you could be listening to literally thousands of other podcasts, you decided to listen to this one. From the very beginning, I said that on this show, I wanted this to be a place where we can find truth together. So it's not that I think I know everything or have everything figured out. Trust me, I do not. But we can go on this journey of finding truth together and really using critical thinking and discernment to do so. Then we can be firm in that truth and then share that with other people. And so this podcast has been a labor of love for me. I know it's been a few weeks since I actually released an episode, and I am so sorry for that. But I have used that time to plan a lot of future podcasts and really get a vision for exactly what I want this show to be like. And very soon we will have regular podcasts. I'm going to try to start being very consistent in rolling out all of the episodes for you all, because there are so many important topics to talk about. Honestly, there's endless topics to talk about. So today we are going to talk about a little bit of pop culture. Like I said in the introduction, as you know, the Grammys were the other night. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not a fan of the Grammys. And every time the Grammys roll around, or the Oscars, or the Golden Globes, I'm reminded at just what state the entertainment industry is in, and that many of these celebrities are in fact very out of touch with the state of American society, and honestly just with reality and what it's like to just be an everyday person in America. And I don't mean that in a mean way or to be critical. It's just the truth, because so many of these celebrities, they're so famous, they're so popular, they have so much money, they have private security, gated mansions. And again, I'm not saying that they should not have those things. I am a proponent of free market economics. I love the opportunity that the United States of America gives to people. And I also am a proponent of private property. So I'm not saying that they shouldn't have mansions, that they shouldn't earn money, not at all. I'm just saying because of those things, oftentimes they get kind of out of touch with just the everyday American and what's really going on, including in politics. And a perfect example of that the other night was Billie Eilish. So she got an award at the Grammys for her song Wildflowers. And when she got up on stage, instead of using her time up there to just be filled with gratitude for the people that have helped her get to that spot, to our country, and just being positive about her job, about her music and the entertainment industry, she used that time to criticize ICE with very colorful language, and then to also criticize the United States of America as a whole. Watch this clip.
No one is illegal on stolen land. And yeah, it's just really hard to know what to say and what to do right now. And I feel really hopeful in this room, and I feel like we just need to keep fighting and speaking up and protesting, and our voices really do matter, and the people matter. And I say sorry.
So there were so many things in that clip, in that speech, that I found to be very disturbing. Number one, it constantly bothers me how many people have to use foul, obscene language to get their points across. And I know that we live in a society where it's accepted for some reason to use that kind of language, where back in the day, it was considered very bad manners, even unethical and immoral to use that kind of language, especially around ladies. But now women themselves are using that language and they're using it to get their points across. And I just want to say, if you're someone that uses bad language, you are smart, you are intelligent, you don't have to use foul language to get your point across. I know that you may be upset about something or sad about something or just overwhelmed about something. But if your message that you're trying to convey to people has sustenance, you don't have to use foul language to get it across. And there are other people that say things, whether on social media or in person, and if you removed all the foul language from, their sentences, they're not actually saying very much. And so that is a perfect example of people filling in their words with foul language in order to sound passionate or upset or filled with conviction when actually they're really not saying anything. If you're standing up for truth and right, if you are passionate about what you're talking about, if it's based on real conviction, you can use beautiful, accepted words to get it across. You don't have to use foul language. And I challenge you, if you are finding yourself using foul language, ask yourself, is what I'm saying important? Or is it just fluff without all these bad words? I encourage you to ask yourself that, because everything we are saying should be edifying. And especially if you name the name of Christ, you should use your words to convey love and purity and righteousness. And I know some of you may say, well, it's just words. It's just a preference. It's my personality. God doesn't really mind if I use these specific words. And my response to that would be, in the New Testament, when Jesus was arrested, when Judas betrayed him and he was arrested and he was being tried by the religious leaders, Peter followed him to a certain extent. And he was outside of the place where Jesus was on trial. And a young woman recognized him as one of Jesus's followers. But he was afraid. He didn't want to be seen as one of Jesus's followers right then because he might be arrested, or he was afraid of that. And so what did he start doing? He started cursing as a way to separate himself from Jesus. And because of that, this girl and the other people that recognized him left him alone, because even they realized a follower of Jesus wouldn't speak like this, wouldn't be cursing and using foul language. That is why I believe that we should not use foul language, especially as Christians. Your words carry weight. Use language that is beautiful and is pure and reflects the nature of Jesus Christ. That was kind of a side note. I know that Billie Eilish necessarily wasn't conveying a Christian message or conservative values. I'm not sure if she claims to be a Christian or not, but I just wanted to use that conversation about foul language to really talk to you, fellow Christians, about keeping a guard over our mouth. So not only did Billie Eilish use her time on stage to use foul language, but she also used that time to criticize ICE and what they're doing and trying to get violent, criminal, illegal immigrants off of our streets and make them safer. But she also used that time to criticize the United States of America as a whole, which I find so extremely heartbreaking because I love America. Now, America has its flaws. It has its evils. Of course it does. And those things need to be addressed. And those at fault need to be held accountable, of course. But America still has its beauty, and our founding and our history is so rich. And we still offer so much more opportunity than so many other nations. And Billie Eilish, honestly, is a perfect example of that. There are other countries that she would never be able to use her voice to make a living, let alone millions of dollars. This land has given her so much success and opportunity. And so the fact that she uses the time that she's getting an award for her music to criticize our country is absolutely heartbreaking to me. And I just wish that celebrities would stop for one moment and think about the blessings that our beautiful country has given them. And I'm not saying that they should not have free speech or be able to believe what they want. Absolutely not. I just wish, like I said, they would stop and think about the blessings that our nation has given us, the good that ICE is doing, whether we like to admit it or not, and just be grateful for what she's been given. She also used that time, as you heard, to call the United States of America stolen land. And this is what people are really focusing on about that. It's so ironic coming from someone like her because she is a person, like I said, who's worth over $50 million. She owns a very large mansion and potentially multiple multi-million dollar properties on land that she's calling stolen. Kind of ironic. Also, like I said, she's benefited and succeeded in the United States of America, which she's calling stolen land. And so it's just so odd that that's what she chose to say up there. The New York Post released an article about this, and it's called Stolen Land, Grammys Rant Explodes in Billie Eilish's Face as Critics Demand She Hand Over Her Luxury Homes. In this article, it says, lefty pop star Billie Eilish is facing calls to hand over her ritzy Los Angeles digs to a Native American tribe or illegal immigrants after she declared, "No one is illegal on stolen land," at the 68th Annual Grammy Awards ceremony. The Wildflower Singer, that's the name of her song, the Wildflower Singer, 24, is being accused of virtue signaling for the anti-ICE remarks she made while accepting the award for Song of the Year on Sunday night. What about if we all showed up to her mansion and said we are going to live there now? It's stolen land, right? She doesn't own it, wrote one ex-user in response to Eilish's comments. And then political commentator and YouTuber Brandon Tatum, you probably know him as Officer Tatum, wrote, meanwhile, she's chilling in her Hollywood Hills fortress with armed guards and a moat of privilege. If the land's so stolen, sis, hand over the keys to the nearest tribe or migrant family. And that's such an important fact to point out. No one's saying she has to give up her property or invite other people to live with her. They're just saying, if you really believe in this stolen land narrative, then you shouldn't privately own your property. Or you should just open your gate and invite all the Native American tribes that once lived on your land into your house to live with you. Or the illegal immigrants that you were advocating for. You should invite them in to live with you. I mean, if your words carry weight, so if you're going to say something like that, people are going to take you at your word. Also, this article from the New York Post says, the woman is a blithering idiot, of course. If she really means it, then she'll happily hand over her multi-million-pound Malibu beachfront home to illegal immigrants. That was written by a British journalist, Julia Hartley Brewer. She said, which she won't, because it's all just silly celeb posturing. Now, I'm not saying we should call her a blithering idiot. I'm just saying these people on X are just really calling her out for her hypocrisy. U.S. Senator Mike Lee said any white person who does a public stolen land acknowledgement should immediately give his or her land to Native Americans. And then the article says, Eilish, who Forbes estimated had a net worth of $53 million in 2020, purchased a $2.3 million horse ranch in Glendale when she was just 17 years old. That's incredible. She was able to buy a multi-million-dollar home when she was 17. But yet she's taking the stage talking about how this is stolen land. And really, it sounds like criticizing private property and all that. And so it's unclear what other properties she actually owns, but rumors are that there are multiple properties that she owns. So it's very sad. Another article from Newsweek said some social media users allege that Eilish lives on land once belonging to the Tongva tribe. The tribe has deep historical ties to the Los Angeles area, but it is not recognized by the federal government, according to California Native American Heritage Commission. One ex-user said Eilish's home is built where the Tongva tribes once lived, and asked any plans on returning it. Another ex-user wrote, I am done with sanctimony from celebrities. Billie Eilish denounces stolen land while owning properties on former Tongva territory, including a ranch now worth millions. If she is serious, deed it back and live modestly. She won't. It is virtue, lecturing the public while profiting from the system she condemns. And that's really the crux of the whole matter. Billie Eilish and all these celebrities, they want to criticize the American way of life, the American system, but it's how they have had the success they have. They have built their careers on it. And so there's just so much hypocrisy when it comes to things like this. And again, she has the right to believe what she wants. She has the right to take the stage and say what she wants. I am an advocate for free speech. But with free speech comes responsibility, and people are going to call you out for things that you say that don't make sense or are hypocritical. Now, with that said, where did the stolen land theory come from? So, as you know, when settlers from Europe came to the United States of America, there were already Native American tribes that were living in many parts of the United States, all kinds of different tribes, many, many tribes. And I will be the first to admit, some of the methods that the settlers used to force the Native Americans off of certain areas of land and force them into another area were very heartbreaking and sad and should not have been done that way. I will be the first to admit that. There are periods of American history that we shouldn't be proud of, like the Trail of Tears when they drove the Cherokees off the land, like the era of slavery. There are instances where the American, government or settlers failed other people. But with that said, that is something that I love about America, that we alter course where we are wrong, like slavery. We don't still have slaves. Slavery was abolished in the United States of America. And we don't force Indians off of our land anymore. We own private property. We don't steal it from each other. America is a land of opportunity where when we see evil throughout history, we have altered course. Now, there are some, current evils that are going on, like abortion and other things that need to be addressed and dealt with and banned. And I certainly hope and pray that that will happen. But like I said, these historical evils have been changed. We have altered course. So yes, some of those things, the way the Indians were forced off of land was very heartbreaking. But with that said, hardly ever throughout history has any country or region of land stayed in the ownership of one people group for all time. Even when the Indians were here, they constantly fought each other and took over each other's property. I mean, say, for example, the Cherokees owned a certain plot of land. And the Iroquois came in and they fought them for it and they won and they drove them off. Now the Iroquois own that land. So even the Native Americans fought each other for it, overtook each other. Land constantly changes hands all throughout history. And so to say that the United States of America is stolen land is not accurate and does not need to be a talking point in American society today, because land constantly changes hands. But like people are saying, if she believes it's stolen land, she needs to give back her estate or her estates to the Native American tribes that originally lived there, or invite them to live with her, or the illegal immigrants that she wants to protect. Now, that brings me to another point. Why is the media, why is academia, and why are celebrities strongly advocating for these illegal immigrants that ICE is capturing? Because for the most part, they are capturing extreme criminals that have crossed our border. Sex traffickers, child rapists, murderers. those are the kind of illegal immigrants, for the most part, that Border Patrol and ICE are capturing. I mean, you can do your research and see that that's true. Why are all these protesters, why are all these celebrities worried so much about some of the worst human beings ever? Now, I'm not saying every illegal immigrant is one of the worst human beings. I'm not saying that every person that ICE has captured is one of the worst human beings. But like I said, do your own research. A large majority of the people that they are capturing are criminals, are violent people. And I understand that there are American citizens that commit heinous crimes. I understand that. But the difference is every crime that is committed by an illegal immigrant is a preventable one. It wouldn't even have happened if we hadn't had open borders for so many years. And we don't have immigration laws and a border because we hate people from other countries. We have them because we love the people in our country. Just like when you lock your doors at night, is it because you hate everyone outside of your home? No, it's because you love the people in your home and you want to protect them from any potential danger. It's the same thing with borders. You love the people in your country and you want to protect them from potential danger, and you want to screen and vet those that come in our country, which, by the way, that's an option. There is a citizenship process, and it's unfair for those that went through the citizenship process for others to be allowed to just pour over the border without going through any channels, let alone the proper ones. And it's not fair also to all those individuals who have been violently attacked and murdered by illegal immigrants, by gang members who flooded across our border. What about Lake and Riley, who was brutally attacked and killed by a Venezuelan illegal immigrant who I'm pretty sure was a gang member? What about Kate Steinle? What about that little girl named Jocelyn? Those people were brutally assaulted and murdered. Why isn't Billie Eilish using her platform to raise awareness for them? Why is it always the criminal illegal immigrant that these people are advocating for? Again, it's selective outrage because they ignore the victims over here while only focusing on the illegal immigrants. It's a narrative. There is an agenda going on. And we could talk about a whole conversation about that. I believe that the reason Democrats specifically want so many illegal immigrants is because illegal immigrants will vote for them because they allowed them in. And so if you deport the illegal immigrants, Democrats might not win elections. That's just a theory. A lot of people think that, but honestly, I believe it. There are probably several other reasons too. So I don't think it's really from a heart of compassion. Now, some people, it might be a heart of compassion. And in certain scenarios like the killing of Alex Preddy, we will find out through an investigation that is being done whether it was justified or not. And if it wasn't, I want whoever is responsible to be prosecuted to the highest extent of the law. But if we find out it was justified, if there was an actual reason for his killing, the left needs to accept that and admit that. But for the most part, ICE is doing the right thing. They are protecting U.S. citizens from violent criminal illegal immigrants, who is primarily who they're going after. So I just wish that these celebrities would use their world platform. Honestly, it's a world stage to advocate for beauty and positivity and to advocate for the protection of American citizens. That's what I wish they would do. And that brings me to the next person at the Grammys that got up there and, of course, used his time on stage to talk about ICE, and that would be Bad Bunny. He's a Puerto Rican rapper who won an award the other night, and he got up on stage and talked about ICE as well. Watch this clip.
I'm gonna say, ICE out. We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans. Also, I want to say to the people, I know it's tough to know, not to hate on these days. And I was thinking, sometime we get contaminados. I don't know how to say that in English. The hate get more powerful with more hate. The only thing that is more powerful than hate is love. So, please, we need to be different. If we fight, we have to do it with love. We don't hate them. We love our people, we love our family, and that's the way to do it, with love. Don't forget that, please. Thank you. Thank you, God.
So here we have another celebrity who used his time on stage to criticize the United States and ICE. And this is not the first time that Bad Bunny has made headlines in recent days. Last year, he was selected by the NFL to perform the halftime show at the Super Bowl, which is this coming Sunday. But that raised a lot of eyebrows, and it made a lot of people mad and concerned. Why exactly? Because we know most of the time, the people that perform at halftime shows are not exactly conservative. A lot of them are extremely liberal people who actually have some very concerning ties and satanic really leanings. And sometimes that comes out in the Super Bowl performances. And so why does Bad Bunny cause even more outrage than the average performer at the halftime show? Well, Bad Bunny is a Puerto Rican rapper who doesn't sing in English, which again is not a crime. He can sing in Spanish. Spanish is a beautiful language. I mean, I took years of Spanish in high school. I absolutely loved it. But the problem is he's performing at one of the largest sports events in the United States. But he's singing in Spanish. He doesn't sing any songs in English. It's not even that he's going to sing half in Spanish and half in English. He does not sing songs in English. Now, if he gets up there and he sings a song in English on Sunday, don't call me a liar, because up until this point, he hasn't sang any songs in English. I don't know what he has planned for Sunday, but that made a lot of people concerned, because half the people, if not more, at the Super Bowl won't even be able to understand what he's saying in his songs. Not only that, but he has a habit of wearing dresses, which is very odd for a man, period. But it's also very odd for a man that is not gay, at least is not openly gay, and he publicly has a history of dating women, but yet he wears dresses. It's very odd. Sometimes he wears suits like you saw at the Grammys. Sometimes he wears dresses. Very odd. I just want to show you a couple pictures of his very strange attire, dresses, his nails painted, and then some other very concerning outfits that look honestly satanic, like the third eye in the middle of his forehead and the serpent on his face. This is extremely concerning. And so this is why it raised a lot of eyebrows when the NFL announced he would be performing. There is an article, I wanted to tell you a little bit about Bad Bunny. There is an article that tells a little bit about him, specifically about his appearance this coming Sunday at the Super Bowl. So this is an article from Newsmax. It says Puerto Rican rapper Bad Bunny plans to wear a dress during his Super Bowl halftime show as a nod to LGBTQ icons and drag culture, according to Radar Online. The entertainer, whose real name is Benito Antonio Martinez Escasio, was already a divisive choice by the NFL to headline its marquee event and was widely criticized by conservatives. According to Radar Online, the dress, paired with a fully Spanish language performance, is a deliberate provocation designed to fuel the culture war debate. He loves controversy. He lives to push envelopes. A stylist involved in the rapper's wardrobe told Radar Online. He is 100% going to wear a dress, a political thunderbolt disguised as couture. A second source told the outlet he's not playing it safe. The NFL has no idea what's coming. Zero. Okay, that makes me worry. If even the NFL is going to be shocked by what's coming, that's extremely worrisome. Also, I just want to go back to a paragraph I just read. He is 100% going to wear a dress, a political thunderbolt disguised as couture. So even his stylist admitted that it's not about the dress. It's about what the dress represents, a political message. You may be thinking to yourself, why is it such a big deal that a man puts on a dress? It's not just about clothes. It's about what the clothes symbolize. Whether you like it or not, men and women are different. Men are masculine and women are feminine. And dresses are feminine. And so the fact that this man wants to wear a dress is proof that he is trying to blur the lines between men and women and trying to normalize deviant behavior. This causes confusion to our children. They see a man in a dress on the halftime show. What are they supposed to think? You may think it's innocent. You may tell your children, oh, he's wearing a dress. He's not supposed to, but then you move on. That causes confusion in the hearts of your children. And again, it's not an innocent, a man wearing a dress. It's because it goes against truth, the difference between men and women, the beautiful difference between men and women. This is symbolic of the confusion that comes when you get away from God's word and the truth of Jesus Christ. It causes confusion. And his stylist literally admitted that that's what he's trying to do, is to get a political message across. His stylist said, let them complain about naysayers. The dress is already being sewn. Our society for decades has been getting away from truth. Truth exists, but somehow we've gotten to the point where we think that everyone has their own truth. Whatever feels right to them is their truth. No, there is actual truth. And some people see that as restrictive and as oppressive, but honestly, it brings freedom. It takes the pressure off of you, clears up any confusion, the fact that there's truth. And truth ultimately comes from Jesus Christ. The Bible says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father but by me. Jesus Christ said that himself. But so many years ago, in the school system, in the entertainment industry, God was kicked out of the system. Man said, you're no longer welcome here. We've got it from here. Do you see what's happened? The confusion, the chaos, the division that's happened? These people like Bad Bunny claim that they're the ones that are trying to bring unity to our country, to clear up division, but really they're the ones that are causing it. They're the ones that are causing division, that are exploiting their platform to do so, that are trying to cause confusion, to blur the lines between men and women and truth. It's extremely heartbreaking. And, Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, put out a statement that he supports Bad Bunny and he, thinks that Bad Bunny really understands. He said this, listen, Bad Bunny is, and I think that was demonstrated last night, one of the great artists in the world. And that's one of the reasons we chose him. But the other reason is he understood the platform he was on. And this platform is used to unite people and to be able to bring people together with their creativity, with their talents, and to be able to use this moment to do that. And I think artists in the past have done that. I think Bad Bunny understands that, and I think he'll have a great performance. Again, he's saying Bad Bunny is creating unity. No, he's not. He's creating division. And he knows, his stylist even admitted, he knows that's what he's doing, trying to blur the lines between truth. And I just want to encourage you in this time, please be careful what you let your children watch. Honestly, I don't think the halftime show, no matter who is the performer, should be watched by followers of Christ. It is always filled with sexual innuendo and performance, profanity, sometimes Satanism. It's not innocent at all. But especially be careful what you let your children watch, especially on Sunday. A man parading around in a dress. That is only going to cause confusion in their vulnerable minds, not because we hate Bad Bunny, but because truth exists. And he is intentionally trying to confuse you from the truth, to confuse children from the truth ultimately. So please be careful what you let your children watch. And, I just want celebrities to just really advocate for the truth and the unity that they constantly claim they want, instead of causing division, instead of, asking the everyday common American to inconvenience themselves to stand up for an agenda that they think they should do. And a perfect example of that, that was probably a confusing explanation. A perfect example of what I'm talking about is another celebrity, Ariana Grande. She posted on her Instagram story, I believe January 29th, a graphic about the protest the next day, where people would be not going to work and not shopping because they were protesting ICE and demanding that ICE get out of our cities. So again, a celebrity worth millions of dollars who probably doesn't do her own grocery shopping, is okay if she doesn't work for a while, is asking the single moms, the Americans that are going paycheck to paycheck to not go to work, to not do their grocery shopping, to protest what she thinks they should protest. Again, they ask everyday Americans to do things that don't affect them, just to go along with their agenda. They're out of touch with reality, and they're out of touch with the everyday American person and the things that are important to the everyday citizen. So I hope that exploring these topics today and trying to just analyze and dissect these issues has helped you to really understand why they say the things that they say and what's wrong with them saying these things and advocating for these narratives. And I also hope that you've been warned about the Super Bowl halftime show on Sunday. And hopefully you won't let your children watch it. I'm just being honest, because it will harm them, whether you realize it or not. But the other day I was thinking, sometimes the topics that we cover on these podcasts are news stories or heavy topics. And I never want to leave you feeling discouraged or depressed or just heavy, because I know, believe me, the news can be extremely heavy. So we never want to leave you feeling that way. So I thought the other day, I'm going to start from here on out, ending each podcast with something so positive. So I saw a video yesterday. It was actually a Fox News report. And it said that the Trump administration has found 145,000 missing migrant children that went missing under the Biden administration. Now, it's really sad, of course, that they went missing under the Biden administration, but it's absolutely amazing that they have been found. These children that were trafficked over the border that cartels used to get to this country have been found. 145,000. So when you are tempted to believe that the Trump administration is not doing anything right, or that ICE is not doing anything right, I want you to think about the faces of those 145,000 children that have been rescued from horrible circumstances. And I certainly hope that in the days to come, I see that the media will cover this instead of all the negativity, because this is an amazing story and we should all be praising the Lord. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe on the platform of your choice, leave a rating and review to encourage other people to listen, and please share this with your friends and family. Until next time, thank you for joining Amelia Proclaims Liberty.